Hot on the heels of the Tarmac SL8, Specialized has made changes to its endurance bike, the Roubaix. There's a new tunable AfterShock system up front, brand new AfterShock in the rear, providing 18mm of flex, and there's space for 40mm tyres. Oh, and it's lighter and more aero than the old bike, as well as being comfier than the Cannondale Synapse, Trek de Marne and Canyon Endurace, at least according to Specialized. We'll get some first ride impressions in a bit, but first let's dive deep into the new tech that we have here. AfterShock is back, but this time Specialized has added the ability for riders to tune the way the bike reacts to the bumps. You now have the choice of 3 different springs, soft, medium and firm. On top of that, up to 5 preload washers can be used in there. This is designed to take the system all the way from a cushy sofa-like ride for buzzy surface-dressed roads right through to a firm race bike. If customizing a shock sounds like a bit of a technical headache, you may be wrong. Now, Specialized says that if you can change a stem, you will be able to dial this in. On the top of the steerer tube on the S-Works and Pro models, it's not here, you'll find the adjustment knob. This allows you to have the damper anywhere from fully open right through to fully closed. There are even more changes to note. Specialized says that AfterShock 3.0 has been made the most durable yet, making the boot thicker and adding more seals to keep the muck and grime out of the system. While all of that is very cool, the bigger news comes at the back of the bike. Specialized has sort of made the Roubaix a full sus road bike, partly mimicking the adventure gravel bike, the Diverge STR. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, but AfterShock, as it's known, relies on a seat post clamp that is 65mm lower than a traditional road bike. That's according to Specialized. This apparently allows the pave seat post to deflect backwards in a path opposite to that of the rear axle when you hit a bump. The saddle moves backwards in kind of an arc that is similar to the Diverge STRs, but you're getting less movement. The system has a maximum flexion range of 18mm. To provide any more than that, and Specialized says a damper would have been required. The result of all of this, Specialized says, is a bike that is comfier than its rivals. Specialized claims the Roubaix SL8 beats the Cannondale Synapse, Trek de Marne and Canyon's Endurace with its 53% reduction in initial impact forces at the bar when hitting a 22mm bump at 32 km/h. That is a very specific case, but Specialized says that the result can be felt by the rider in the form of a smoother, faster ride. Endurance bikes have traditionally offered wider tyre clearances than road race bikes, with the wider rubber resulting in a comfier ride. Recently, however, endurance road bikes have strayed into gravel bike territory, and the Roubaix is no different, increasing tyre clearance from 33 to 40mm. But is this a useful feature in your eyes, or does this blur the lines between road and gravel bikes too much? Let me know in the comments below. Call me old-fashioned, but a good endurance bike needs to have mounts. Lots of mounts. Specialized has gone for 3 bottle cage mounts, bolts for a top tube bag, and my personal favourite, mudguard mounts. Now, the latter bolt holes are hidden nicely down here by the axles, so if you don't want to use them, they're not really obviously in the way, and the frame still looks sleek. But for those of us that like to ride outside throughout the year, this is great to see. The The sensible standards continue with a 68mm BSA threaded bottom bracket, 12 by 142 and 100mm axles, and a fork that is set up for 160 and 180mm rotors, because we do like braking power. In a similar fashion to the recently launched Tarmac SL8, Specialized has looked to the leading edges of the Roubaix SL8 to save watts. The brand says that it saved 4 watts by ensuring the bike is optimized where it sees clean air. The changes to the frame include a deeper down tube, improved head tube shaping, and lower seat stays. Those efforts haven't, however, extended to hiding the brake hoses from the wind. There's just no space, apparently, inside the AfterShock. Over a 100-mile ride averaging 3 watts per kilo of rider power, Specialized says that this adds up to be 17.7 seconds faster, or 11 seconds over 100 kilometers. The bike is also lighter, with the new layup utilising knowledge from the Athos's production. The result is a claimed 50-gram frame weight saving. Specialized says that as they better understand how shapes carry load, many stiffness layers become redundant and significant material can be removed. This can apparently be seen in the shape of the down tube and how it interfaces with the head tube and seat tube. Weight has also apparently been shaved at the seat cluster and around the bottom bracket, while the carbon has been stepped up to Specialized's highest 12R grade for the S-Works model. All the others, like this one, get 10R carbon. Out of the box, the result, Specialized claims, is a 56 S-Works model weighing 7.3 kilos. For now, Specialized confidently says it's the lightest in class, but keep your eyes on the channel because that might change in a day or two. Okay, how does this thing ride? Well, we haven't had much time on it. I've been for a short spin around here, while Ash won the rock, paper, scissors game and headed for the Atlantic coastline of Portugal. Shame it was beautiful here and raining for him.
So this is Portugal.
Now, between us, we've covered a mix of rolling terrain, including extended climbs, accompanying descents, plus a mix of tarmac and cobblestones. Admittedly, those cobbles weren't the kind you'll find in Paris-Roubaix, but they were enough to showcase the bike's new AfterShock, AfterShock and wide tyre clearance. Perhaps unsurprisingly then, it's the Roubaix's smooth ride that really stands out initially. Oh. Well, with the AfterShock 3.3 unit set up in its softest setting, the bike's ability to dampen hits from the road surface is impressive. Moreover, while the system will effectively compress and rebound when you ride hard out of the saddle, the Roubaix remains relatively firm feeling and delivers really intuitive handling. Now, I've ridden one previous iteration of AfterShock before now, which left me feeling as though the front end was bouncing around. But in the intervening years, it seems like Specialized did a good job refining the system. When he descended on 2 wet cobbled surfaces, Ash found the system effectively isolated him from the disrupted surface below. That's a feeling that I'd second, though my bumpy descents have mostly been courtesy of poor road surfaces. I made it down with far more confidence than I would have done if I'd have been shaken about, that's for sure. Firming the system on a ride is done using the dial, which takes the position usually reserved for a top cap, and you've got 5 settings to choose from. I have to say it took both Ash and I about 5 minutes of riding on smooth tarmac to decide that the firmest setting was our favourite when not riding on rough surfaces. Having said that, all this does is firm up the suspension action. It doesn't actually remove it. So with 32mm S-Works Mondo tyres mounted to these Roubaix Terra CLX wheels, the overall ride impression is one of smoothness, but it's easy to chuck the Roubaix SL8 around in the firmest setting, and you get a response which is reminiscent of a mild-mannered race bike. Despite the smoothness, the S-Works frame set and Terra wheel set felt stiff in all the key areas. Whether pro riders tackling Paris-Roubaix will opt for the Roubaix SL8 over the Tarmac SL8 remains to be seen, but I can certainly imagine Specialized sponsored gravel racers may well be tempted by this, as Specialized openly hopes that they will. Given that Ash and I only ever wanted to use the FutureShock 3.3 on its softest and firmest settings, as yet though, I'm unsure whether the level of tuning offered is actually a bit overkill for the vast majority of customers. So the initial verdict is positive. I for one certainly see the Roubaix SL8 being a popular year-round bike, but do you agree? Has Specialized made a bike that you like, or is this overkill? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like this video and subscribe to help the channel. And if you like your road bike tech, there's even more for you right here.